I set my Google Chrome zoom percentage. I don't like it too big. If you see, if I go to 100%, I don't know if you can see that. Let me just see if that plays on YouTube. Yeah, it does. See, I don't like it to zoom in. I don't like everything too big. I like it's finer. Like this is what I have. Up and early trading the way it should be. Exactly. Good. 4 p.m. in Luxembourg. Good, good, good. So why don't we get started? Why don't we get started now? Let's start with the currency pairs first, and then there's several things you guys were talking about, so I'll go over those as well. And then um, let's look at dollar index here. So what I'm seeing here, this last bit of price action, we talked about this in the previous streams. I like how we're just kind of correcting now, forming kind of correction here, kind of reversal, which is good. I want to see dollar get strength, right? And we want to wait for some sort of price to develop, some sort of structure, some sort of pattern, at least indicate us that this bearish move is likely to be finished, and then we can see potential reversal upwards this point forward. And I like how we are making typical structures, as I always talk about. You want to have two swing highs and two swing lows, and then either waiting for a confirmation breakout and then confirmation correction to continue. All right, so that's what I see on dollar so far. Okay, of course, there's a tendency that price can just make one more trick to the downside and then still go off afterwards. Okay, we could be forming this inverse head and shoulder pattern as well. Okay, so nothing is set yet. We're just still kind of in this consolidation, still in this correction. So I will be just giving a little bit more time to see what will happen in this last bit of price and take it from there. Yeah, those crypto I'll go over after Revere. Hopefully I pronounced that right. I'll go over those after, no problem. So that's what I see on dollar index for now. All right. So why don't we take a look at a few dollar pairs? A few dollar pairs are kind of shaping up to be what we're looking for now. So on the higher time frame, we know that Aussie dollar, as I mentioned before, I like this kind of correction. It's moving up correctively and it's forming a potential kind of ascending channel. And last bit of the price is what I always look for is, do we have a little bit more confirmation? I'm not just going to blindly enter a sell because I see some bearish candle. Rather, I want to see price is doing in the last bit. Like, are we seeing reversal structures? Are we seeing reversal price action? So in this case, you can see that price made that push up, and then we had this push down followed by a correction. So kind of what I was looking for in that sense. So I like how we had this correction. We pushed down now, and what are we seeing here? Well, we could potentially see a head and shoulder here as well. If this pulls back and then continue downwards, then we're seeing a bigger head and shoulder in the making, and it's at the top of the overall price action. So certainly can continue if we just kind of get a confirmation breakout from here followed by a correction. That's always something that I will be looking forward to be able to add into a sell because we see a higher time frame correction over, and it's certainly very good to the downside. Okay, so that's what I see on Aussie dollar. Which chart is this? Is flow to me. This is Aussie dollar. You can see this, yeah, Aussie dollar currency Forex. Hey, Glorious. Hey, Hugh. Yeah, hey, you guys. Well, not lots of you guys on today. Yeah. Hey. How's it going? So that's Aussie dollar. Kiwi dollar, very similar things. We know that we pushed the price up to this top of the expanding structure, and again, a few options at the time, and pretty much what happened is, we pushed the price up and then we pushed down followed by a correction. So very similar like Aussie dollar I just went over. So similar setup, kind of how I was forecasted. I wanted to see a little bit more confirmation. Remember, this was a trade I took for a loss. There was the structure was still forming at the time, but I entered a sell and then kind of tagged me out just a little bit before I continue. again, I'm not emotional about it, and I'm very positive about it because now that I know that if I see that descending channel post correction impulse, so either a correction here or we're just going to continue more to the downside, which is great because we see if we zoom out here on a higher time frame, there's so much room to the downside now because we're forming that similar kind of price action like Aussie dollar. If this pushes complete this kind of expanding structure as a reversal, so this is an impulse, but instead of a continuation to go up, we had a reversal kind of price action, then we're likely to see the next bearish push. And I will be always to looking for a short here down to the lows. So I'm fine missing the profit here. I'm looking for more profit, of course, looking for more entries, right? So different perspective when it comes to things like this. And for me, never feel emotion or stress on trading. Try to keep it emotionless. It's how I would want to do it. All right, so Kiwi dollar is looking very good now. And like we had this push down, it could potentially pull back a little bit more, forming that same head and shoulder I talk about Aussie dollar as well. This can just kind of pull back a little bit for kind of a channel structure before it takes off. Or right now we're and we're just going to see more and more continuation to the downside. Okay, so that is Kiwi dollar for the dollar pairs. Let's go to euro dollar. Hello, hello. Euro dollar. Talk about this again. Same thing with Aussie dollar, Kiwi dollar. I've been kind of mentioning these dollar pairs are the ones I'm going to be looking for. I like how we had this kind of corrective structure pushing the price up. And last bit of the price is in this kind of ascending channel. So I personally like how we actually have a confirmation breakout now, which is what I'm looking for. If you recall, um, I was looking for either price to make a push to the top and then push down. In this case, it didn't quite reach the top, but it did make that final push to the upside, breaking the previous high, and then the strong impulse down, which is what I'm looking for. So look for that confirmation correction. That's kind of the same. What I'm looking at now is we had this impulse down, which is great. Um, but is this going to continue down more and more and more? Not likely until I see a correction here, right? We see correction moves, we see all these reversal corrections. Now we want to see continuation correction here to push the down price. And if we see the overall structure, if we see the overall higher time frame, we're reversal down or even long-term approach to all the way to the previous low. It's possible, right? So this overall structure as a kind of a ascending channel, a rising wedge, and you have more of these ascending channel. So price is just continuously correcting, right? For stronger impulse on a higher time frame yet. Okay, so that's why I still have a bias with the sell. If we go to the higher time frame, um, it's not like impulsive phrase like what we have seen like this, right? On the higher time frame, we do see lower time frame impulses, don't get me wrong, but this looks like a bigger consolidation to me, and we have been in this kind of a ascending channel since beginning of December as well. So certainly this can work out. It's already kind of pushing out already. So the confirmation will be a lower time frame continuation. Okay, so that is euro dollar for me. Are you going to enter after it breaks below the structure? Which pair are you talking about? I missed that. Are you talking about euro dollar or why the uptrend in red for you? No, I just switch it around sometimes. You can customize it whatever you want. I tend to do that periodically because I like to change my visual sometimes. You're looking at the charts every day, so I tend to be a little bit more. Um, I like to customize it, so to speak. So I just like to periodically change color. What time frame this is on? This is just a 4 hour chart. Or if you're talking about symbol, this is euro dollar, by the way. The one that you're analyzing on, yeah, euro dollar. So anyways, let's continue. Dollar CAD. I can't go over dollar CAD. Not my favorite, but let's go over that. I do like how price is looking like it's going to have a bullish push now. If you recall my weekly outlook, I mentioned when you look at dollar pairs, if they're going to go, they're likely to go together. So it's time. It's all about kind of filtering which dollar. So dollar CAD certainly has a potential. I like how we had this channel. We popped to the upside, even though we kind of pushed down once again, but we're forming a potential double bottom. And lower time frame, we see this push to the upside. Can we see a continuation? That's kind of what I'm waiting to see if the price has enough momentum to continue forward. That's certainly something that the price needs to do, in my opinion, in order to continue as well. So that's all I see for now, and I want to see if the price can break this previous high and then continue more and more and more. I just felt that based on price, based on analysis, based on what I see, I like Aussie dollar and Kiwi dollar more because they look more cleaner and they're the overall structure that they're in. It's much cleaner. Same thing with euro dollar, by the way. It's just much cleaner than let's say dollar CAD or even pound dollar. I know some of you guys always ask me for pound dollar, and I always mention I really don't like this last bit of price action from pound dollar. Same thing with pound yen and all the other pound pairs. You see how you see this bearish push down, and then maybe you guys got in some sort of these corrections, but look at what the price is already doing, because I've seen this happening too often in the last bit of the price. Like there's like at least 4 or 5 times price did that already, and that's why I'm not interested in trading or putting my money at risk when price is in this overall position. Interesting if we can actually break out this correction here. Okay. BTC, I'll go over after all the currency. What can I trade right now? Not far to be honest. I'll go over a few things that could shape up. So the color schemes. So dollar peso, I like where forming correction. I like how this originally I thought could be like a descending channel or whatever, but the longer deeper this correction goes, the better it is for us, right? Because it's more of a neutral descending kind of structure. It's good for a potential reversal for the price. All right, we had this higher time frame structure after this price push down, and then there was just a few attempts trying to push up at least, but did not work out too great. But after this latest lower time frame push down, when I didn't see a continuation in this area, um, I know that we're likely to just form bigger consolidation in this period before a potential reversal. Okay. So certainly like some of the dollar pairs, this is kind of a more maybe. I do like the cut of a couple of the dollar pairs that I just went over. Dollar yen, I do want to go over it. So dollar yen, I do want to go over. Um, some of you guys ask me about dollar yen. Kind of usually, I tend to say I don't like to have a bias yet, but I'm seeing a little bit better now, a little bit more potential buy. So I want to go over this quickly. Um, I like the last bit of the price here was in this consolidation. Clearly, we're in a correction here. We're not moving out too much. And this last bit of price, we had this low, and then we had this continuation correction for this move, but we just didn't continue more and more and more. Instead, we have a impulse and then a reversal impulse, and then as I always talk about, all the trades that when you see an impulse down and then when you see a reverse impulse up followed by a continuation correction, this trade usually has a very high probability to work out because we just see that a sharp impulse did not follow by a continuation, whereas it directly going to a impulse afterwards. So this is kind of what I'm seeing here. There's a few options here that the price can still correct in this. This can push to the upside and correct down and then continue upwards. What I'm more interesting is actually if I can see a complete breakout from this structure here, right? Because I always about in even if when the price doesn't break out, or even if it breaks out but there's no continuation, instead just drops down, then we just know that the structure is still correcting, it's still not finished developing or evolving yet. That's why for me is not too interesting whatever the price do in this area. Rather, I want to wait for if we can see price just continue break the above, right, followed by continuation. That's preferably something I want to see in order to take a potential long entry somewhere here, looking further up to the upside. Okay, so that's what I see on a dollar yen for now. So pretty much between dollar or yen that it's going to get stronger. This kind of what I'm seeing, that the dollar can outweigh the yen in this case here. So all right, so let's move on to other dollar pairs. So dollar, Singapore dollar, talk about this in weekly outlook as well. We're kind of approaching this top now, which is great. We're approaching the top of the structure, but be careful. Same thing is wait for confirmation. Price can easily hit this top and then drop down and continue onward, which is exactly what happened in the last case. And a little bit better, in my opinion, is that as the structure continue to expand, but expand into a expanding structure, so bigger and bigger, right? This bigger kind of two sides. In my kind of back testing years of kind of collecting data, I do see these play out quite often as these correction gets bigger. So certainly potentially see a head and shoulder as well if this is pulled back to here and then continue. But like I said, the confirmation will be a continuation outside of the structure, and then we can see dollar getting strength at least, at least kind of reverse back up to this previous top, because we have been moving down quite a lot. Took off for the COVID, so certainly do see the dollar to getting at least some pullback or some strength in the meantime until further downside is possible, right? So right now it's not to confirm what the price will do, but what it's likely to do is form this reversal and then push, and then we'll see kind of what happens when we get to this area. Gold I'll go over after, okay? Let's continue. So dollars are here. Same idea like dollar Singapore dollar, right? What is better is that we had this descending channel within the larger descending channel. We had this period of a neutral correction here. You can call pretty much reversing the back price up. And this is a clear kind of lower time frame impulsive phrase. Then I mentioned that can we look for a continuation? Can we see a continuation develop and then continue to push the price up? Right? I like how some of these dollar pairs are moving a little bit faster than the other ones. So dollar Singapore dollar is still in this correction, whereas dollars are is pushing out already. And like I said, when you push out, there's potential correction here, or you can wait for a bigger clear, and that's going to be your confirmation for a long trade. Let's move on to a few other pairs. So let's move on to a few other pairs here. Aussie CAD is one thing I'm looking at as well. I like that potentially we're breaking out of this ascending channel now, and we know that on a higher time frame, it is at a double top area, which is a good kind of area to be looking for potential short from the lower time frames. So very clean. Lower time frame here, we're seeing a potential breakout. So I like that. I like that we had this kind of a double top here on the lower time frame. So a double top here, we had a push down followed by a correction, and we push down again. So this is all good. And in my opinion is it going to form correction here? right? We break out the structure, that's the first sign, but is there a continuation? So far, not yet, in my opinion. This could be a continuation, but it's not complete or it's still developing. I would prefer to see a little bit more confirmation breakout, like a very strong impulsive phrase in the lower time frame, something like this. Okay, from this area here, so we can see more bearish side continue. Because to me, there's a lot of room. Okay, I always talk about this. There's a lot of room to the downside. You don't have to worry about missing potential entries. Certainly, there is lots of room. Even if you didn't miss the first sell, there's more sell opportunity once the bearish move happens. In my opinion, there is lots more opportunities. Next, I want to go over Aussie Swiss. Some of you guys are interested in Aussie Swiss. I personally is as well. I like how, again, on the higher time frame, similar like Aussie CAD, double top in the area. We have this ascending channel, and then price still potentially forming this head and shoulder pattern as well. I like that. Right. This is a left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and then we're forming correction, which is good. This looks like a right shoulder or a continuation correction for this move on the lower time frame. So this is all good for us to be looking for a potential sell. I do like the price that's developing. But however, I personally would wait for a confirmation to break out from here. We've seen a few times where price did manage to make a push to the downside, but no continuation or just no correction to push down further. Instead, we just bounce up from this bottom of the area. So certainly something can happen here. This can move a push to the downside and then bounce back up again before a continued drop. So I don't really want to get trapped in this area, so to speak. I've seen that happen in the past. So here followed by a continuation. I want to repeat this because some of you guys ask me, is this not right to sell here? It's not right and wrong, right? I talk about this. It's about what fits you as your plan. So in this case, price makes the push to a downside, and then it quickly makes the push to upside. So that's it. Yeah, you see the previous time price trying to break out from this ascending channel, but it didn't continue downwards, and then price quickly retraced back up. So it want to tag you out for maybe break even or just small profit. So you understand that that can be a tendency price to do again. It pushes down and then pushes back up before coming down, right? So if you enter these sell positions, just understand that that's a possibility, right? That's on the downside, but on the bright side is certainly you're going to make more profit if you enter at the top, right? Whereas if I choose to enter a sell out of here, followed by a correction, so I will miss profit here. But I'm fine missing the profit if I can get a profit down to the lows. I can be a little bit more risk managed in this case. So that fits my plan, right? So already, when you choose how to trade, you have to understand it's all double anyway on the other side of things as well. No perfect world for both. All right. So let's look at Aussie Yen. Aussie Yen. If you guys recall, I updated this in my Telegram. Um, Took a loss here. I liked how we had this ascending channel hitting that kind of a daily kind of top. We had this ascending channel. Remember when some of you guys asked me what I would be shorting here? I said no because I want to see a little bit more price develop, right? To me, it has developed into something I like. We had this reversal kind of structure. We push the price up. It doesn't have to reach the top of that trend line on the higher time frame, right? It just has to be in that area. I just want to see it in that area. What is the price doing? So we have this ascending channel, push the price up, and then remember my confirmation is that strong lower time frame impulsive move. So to me, that was an impulsive move, and then we form a continuation correction here. So I just set an entry order here with the stop loss of both. So let me see if I can get that still. Yeah, so I got tagged in here and then just let the trade run. And then unfortunately, it just continued to pull back a little bit deeper and tag me out. But I would be fine with these kind of entries. I do these entries all the time. So I'm not worried about that if one time it doesn't work out. Good risk ranges down to the lows. And if this was the bearish reversal to happen, then I certainly can get a lot more risk reward as well. So it's all about your perspective on trading, right? You can see trading as something like that and you get upset because you took a loss here, or you can be happy that the trade just didn't work out, but everything you did, you follow your plan, and then you follow your management plan, you follow your trading plan, and that's fine to me. So what do I see on Aussie dollar now is that can this just develop into a bigger correction? If it does, then I would be still interesting. I would still jump back to these trades, and this is fine me taking a loss on this or taking a break even on some trades, and then jump back in if I see the correct price action. So if this is the ascending channel or a rising wedge reversal, we had this push down, and if we can get a continuation kind of a channel as well, then certainly we can see this continue, and we're getting a little bit of a tendency of a head and shoulder as well. You see why I always point out head and shoulder is because head and shoulder tends to work the best when it's at the top of the structure, right? We can see that we're at the top of the overall price action. There's no denying that we've been moving up, and this is like last bit of the price where we continue to move up. And head and shoulder is a reversal structure, right? So we want to see these type of things at the top of the overall price. This is going to add confluence to your trade, and that's why looking for stacking confluence on top of confluence is going to help you to filter better trades moving forward. Someone asked about cat yen. Let's talk about cat yen. Remember, we had this push to the downside, and then I was kind of waiting for a continuation correction. Didn't happen, but we're right back to the previous top now, which is great. This is that previous kind of higher time frame top. Now we're forming kind of a reason double top, and this can be an M style pattern and as well. So a reversal structure for the price. And this move quite can be a kind of a correction moving up as well. So certainly can be a possibility to the downside, but this push to the downside did not follow by anything yet. Makes me a little bit doubting on this position. Certainly can happen here if we just develop into a bigger structure or something like this. However, not seeing that yet. So I would want to be a little bit more cautious on this one. Swiss yen, I do like Swiss yen a little bit better because we're in this kind of you can say this is a more of a ascending channel. Usually ascending channel will be reversal, but ascending channel can be continuation if it's followed by an impulsive raise. So what we're seeing here is big consolidation here, right? Clear not impulsive phrase anymore, we're in a corrective phrase. I was surprised to see after this push down, we didn't get any kind of correction to push down further, but consolidation here is nice because it's telling you that we can either just complete this correction and continue lower, or we're likely to make another corrective move to the upside and then still drop from this point forward. Okay. I'll go over crypto all that after, okay, Zan, if you don't mind. I'm gonna finish all the currency first, and I'll jump to other ones. So Euro Yen. So talk about yen. I like how we are forming this ascending channel as well. So reversal structure, especially we're hitting the previous kind of swing high top, which is great. And the latest bit of price action, we had this kind of a correction here. You can see slanted head and shoulder as well. We pushed down, and then looking to see what will happen here. And remember in my streams analysis, I mentioned I'm not too interested to look for a sell here. I'd rather wait for the price to actually break out, followed by a correction to go down lower. Okay, this is again because we have seen too many times when price tried to push out and nothing happened. We did not continue, and then we just kind of pull back and making this channel bigger and longer. Know that the correction continues to correct. So certainly not interested in any of these kind of lower time frame potential sell. I will be looking for the confirmation breakout and then confirmation correction to bring the price lower. Okay, so it's shaping up right now. So don't just don't rush these, right? Be patient. this can just make a push down and then just quickly reverse and stop all, or you might take a loss here. All right, so let the price come to you. If it bounces to downside, pushes up, then look for another down push from that point forward. But if this is that move that we're going to break out now, then look for continuation here to continue. Pound yen. Someone asked me about pound yen, and this is the same reason why I'm not interested in pound dollar, right? Same idea. Some of you guys are looking at this as a triple top or head and shoulder. Really doesn't matter because I've been talking about this since in this period and like mid-November that I'm not interested in most of the pound pairs. This is really why, right? You just have to filter through the positions, right? I mean, the same thing as when you look at through the dollar pairs. Um, when you look through the dollar pairs, people ask me about pound dollar a lot, and I said, well, pound dollar is usually not on my watch list because I would prefer Aussie dollar and Kiwi dollar, Euro dollar. They just have better price action, and it's kind of the same thing here. Pound yen is that I would prefer Aussie yen and CAD yen, Euro yen, things like that. They just had better price action, right? So you see how even though from a price action point of view, triple top head and shoulders, some of you guys see it that way, and some of you guys may think that's a good enough confluence. But I'm just looking at it from all this previous price action where it's just going to be very it's not really it's not really in the impulsive phase. It's just very corrective, and it's very erratic to a point where I don't really want to touch it. Okay, see how most of the time you guys are looking for a short here, and then it's kind of short-lived in that sense, right? We're at the top of the structure, which is a good point, but after seeing what it has done many times when it tries to push down, that didn't happen. Then even if this kind of push down followed by correction, I'm really not interested in it either. All right, what I would be interesting is if we break out from here and then continue to the downside. I will be looking for something like this. Okay, again, I'm not worried about missing profit here. You're not going to catch all the profits. You're not always going to catch all the runs. You as a trader is to continue look for setups, get in and get out, and then move on to other opportunities. So let's continue here. Last one here, Kiwi Cat as well. Update this on Telegram. I like how the price is breaking out now. So to me, this is a similar kind of price action we have seen in the past. I took a trade here as well. So that resulted to, I think, 3.5 or something. Same idea here, right? Same ascending channel, same kind of impulse correction, impulsive breakout. So same idea here. And I like how price formed this kind of a ascending channel continue all this price, right? So we had this continuation, we pushed down, and then I just set an entry order here to get tagged in after this correction. I could have set it over here. It was just too early. I didn't wake up. I woke up probably during this time or something, and then I was looking at this correction looking nice. We had this push down, and then a potential smaller lower time frame correction, and just pretty generous stop with 25. And we'll see what happens in the upcoming day, right? So it's just about break even here. Happy to let this trade run. Happy to take a loss, even if it's going to be a loss, right? Because I see these same move play out over and again. So happy to take a loss there, right? It's all about your perspective, as I always mention. You can be miserable and stressed and unhappy because you take a loss, or you'll be fine because if you do enough backtesting, you've done enough chart work, you'll know that these will work out in time. And if you keep your risk reward management right, you know you're not over trading, you're not revenge trading, you're not taking the same pair of the position too many, then you will be on top after the end of the period. All right, so that's what I see on KiwiCAD. Just looking for that bearish confirmation pushed all the way to the down, and then see what happens at the low here. All right, so Kiwi cat there. Any question, guys, before us jumping to other markets? I know you guys are asking me to do a few other markets, so I will go over those. I update all these stuff. Someone asked, I update all these in my Telegram, guys. If you're interested, I update all my trades in my Telegram. I update all my videos, all my analysis, all in my Telegram. If you guys are interested, okay. So just type in Ares Trading here. This is my. So let's talk about some commodities here. I'm in sugar still, so I'm still at break even for sugar. I'm just waiting to see what we'll have here in this overall kind of consolidation. My plan, like I said, you always gotta have a plan when you enter trades. Is what is your plan after you enter? Well, my plan is to just let the trade to stay break even, because I see the potential on the higher time frame. I want to see um, price to break out above this kind of previous swing high area and then continue upwards. So I'm fine holding a trade like this. I'm not worried about trying to secure 1% profit in this area. I'd rather see the potential for the upside move. Okay, so if it's going to form a correction here, it's going to form now, and then we're going to break above that. So everything I see here is nice. We have this continuation correction um, for this move here. So we had an impulse, we had a correction, and then we had another impulse out, lower time frame continuation. So I entered here. To see what we'll do here. So I'm eager to see the upcoming development. I know sometimes commodity will move a little bit slow or very corrective because it's in the correction, but after the correction finishes, we usually see the next impulsive rates. All right. So sugar update, guys. Let's jump into gold. I think you guys are all asking about gold. Crypto, yes, I will go over crypto, okay, after this. Yeah, so let's look at gold really quick. So this last bit of the price here, we formed this ascending channel. Remember I talked about originally I had the trend line drew like this, and we broke up now. Nope, there's no continuation, right? And that's why you stay out of the trades. You don't jump in because of FOMO, because it breaks out some trend lines, right? You want to wait for confirmation. And I mentioned that this is what price can be doing now, right? We have this ascending channel, we had a lower time frame push down, so clearly impulsive phrase. And looking for a continuation here would be nice. And I mentioned a few times that this is certainly a sell, and this certainly can work out most of the time, but I'm not interested in the sell because I'm looking at the overall bigger picture that I want to be looking for the buy. So if this is just last bit of the move that price is likely to move to push down to complete the structure, then I'm not interested in the short sell. I certainly think it can work out, but I'm looking for a buy from the bottom here. Okay, so it's just again that's it, or these won't play out. It's just it's not in my plan to trade these kind of short. Okay, these kind of short certainly is in the making and certainly is in the right to correct and then continue. Right, that's how the price is going to move. But it's just not for me. It's not in my risk to do this. I like to be looking for the buy from the bottom here. I think the risk reward and the momentum is going to be in my favor. And I talk about higher time frame. I always want to have higher time frame bias, multi time frame analysis in my favor. I like how price has been moving up actively, and this is can be a continuation flag pattern, and we're just going to continue once this correction finishes. Right? We're not sure when will the correction finish, but we have a very good understanding of how the price works. This makes the move to the downside. This can be moved to the upside. Price can just correct once more to the bottom, to the top, and then to the bottom to up, and nothing changes from the structure. Right? You guys have to understand that structure can continue to evolve or correct. Nothing wrong with what it's doing, but as it goes deeper and longer, there's just confluence now that you know that this overall move is just being corrected by all this correction, and continue resuming the trend after that. Okay, so that is what I see on gold, guys. Tesla going to new high, Netflix going down to 450. Why do you think Netflix go down if Tesla goes up? I'm just curious. Silver here, same idea. Remember, I talk about silver as well. So some of you guys got in the silver sell, which is great. But here, so same thing with gold would be nice to continue the sell. Uh, because this already moved, and if I was looking for a sell, I'd be looking for a sell from the top, around this area. So I already missed the sell, so not too interesting for now. And because we're about halfway through this move as well, so we're pretty much close to the bottom here. And again, anything can happen. Are we going to just break through this low and then continue lower, or we are going to get a kind of a reversal from this point and then we're going upwards? Okay, so it's still too early to tell at this point. Um, but I do see there is a potential for this to just at least touch the low here and then kind of reevaluate to see what will happen in this area. All right. So, and remember, I talk about I don't usually like conflicting bias. If gold makes that move to the downside and then reverse on the bottom, then obviously gold is in a bullish move now. Whereas silver, if it does that thing, if it pushes to the bottom, this looks like it can just continue lower and lower as well. Okay, so that's why I want to be a little bit extra careful on these setups. So no, I understand. Dodge. I meant like, why is Netflix going down? Do you have any idea? Because I don't really trade stocks, or I don't really. I mean, I don't daily trade stocks. I invest in stocks, but I'm just wondering if you know anything about it. No, I'm not in those stocks. I have, if we talk about stocks, I could go over stocks. Well, I'm only in Nike. Where is it? I'm in Nike from this bottom here. This is my buy to hold as an investment rather to a trade. I was just holding the stocks as an investment, but I'm not in anything else. I'm not in Tesla or anything like that. Um, so, but Tesla has been moving. You're right. But after seeing something like this, honestly, I really, right, I talk about this all the time. Is after a sharp impulsive move from the market, you usually want to wait for a correction. After a sharp move, you want to wait for a correction, right? You after a sharp move, correction, sharp move, correction. So it's the same thing here, in my opinion. Right? We already made a very sharp move to the upside. You really want to wait for a bigger consolidation before if you want to jump into the buy here. Okay. Price action after all-time high. Yeah. Okay, so that's it. So Netflix. Yeah, interesting. I mean, I to the bottom here and then see if there's kind of reversal price action at the lows here. That's kind of how I would approach something like this. I'm gonna go through now crypto. Sorry guys. Let's talk about. Let's talk about this Bitcoin Cash quickly. I talk about this in the weekly outlook. Maybe some of you guys didn't catch that. Maybe. Um, I like how we had this push to the upside now, right? I know we had this retracement. I know we had a little bit of pullbacks or dips or whatever people call, but I like the structure that if we form continuation here, I do have a good bias that we're going to continue the bullish. See here, we have been in. You can see price was at much higher price before, right? It's pretty clear here. We had this push to the downside and then this period consolidation. Right? If we notice any cryptos, especially when they start moving, same idea, right? You're always gonna have a push to the upside and then you start declining, and then you're just seeing the period consolidation before the next up move. Right? This is exactly how Bitcoin has moved, and then this continued shoots up. If I want to say, what the Bitcoin is doing currently, right? So same idea as most of the crypto is in this phrase now. They're either in this consolidation phrase or they're beginning in this phrase. But whatever this, none of them are where Bitcoin is, but they can all follow the Bitcoin move. All right, see every other pair as well. So this is why I'm focusing on a lot of these. A lot of these are having that kind of scoop kind of price action. Okay, and I'll go over some of them that looks great on the higher time frame. All right, so that's why I'm seeing this on Big Cash and certainly that continuation as well. Okay. Hey, Mountain Trader FX, thanks for the coin, man. Appreciate it. So let's continue. Let's talk about Bitcoin. So let's see where we are. Again, I'm still holding the trade, still in the trade. Oh, why did this move? Oh, shoot, I'm sorry. So I'm still in Bitcoin. Remember, I updated this in Telegram. I mentioned. I'm just gonna stick to my rule. I'm just gonna hold the trade. I don't really, because I'm looking at it from a higher time frame perspective, right? Remember, we just went over Bitcoin Cash. It's the same thing we're seeing here. Okay, I'm just gonna give you guys a perspective. Is that we have that push up and then we have the push down and then appear a long vision. And then when we resume the bull trend, this is exactly what happened. It's like that scoop formation. And I'm gonna go over a few other ones, but that's exactly kind of what we're seeing. Right? That's exactly what we're seeing here. We have this massive push to the upside now. I do agree there could be needed some sort of correction here before we resume the trend. But anything can happen here. Just my plan. I'm just going to stick to my plan and management. I just want to see what will happen if this kind of a bearish correction here. Then I would be looking to exit the position. Okay. If I don't see that, then I'm happy to hold the trade. That's kind of my plan behind it. I have seen similar like this in the 2017 crash of the crypto, where it made an all-time high or all whatever. It made a push down and then it made a correction and then eventually dropped. Okay. So that's something I will be keeping an eye on. But if that doesn't happen, then I will be holding the trade. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go over Ethereum. 1 second. All right. So that is my plan. That is my management plan behind it. That's it. I don't let the outcome worry to me too much or stress me too much. I think some of you guys or someone messaged me about you're losing profit. Then that's I don't think of it that way, guys. I don't think of it that way because if you're thinking about losing profit, then where were us when Bitcoin is here, right? Why didn't we buy Bitcoin when it's only a couple hundreds or a couple, whatever, right? So it's all about your perspective. You can be unhappy when it's up when you didn't buy Bitcoin all the way at a couple hundreds, or you can be happy about that you're entering here, and then we're likely to continue, right? So it's all again perspective on trading, guys. Yeah, let's go over Ethereum. So Ethereum higher time frame. Remember, I talk about this that I really like what I'm seeing here on a higher time frame perspective. This is that scoop that I just talked about, right? We had this point here consolidation, and now we're just resuming. So either a correction here to push up, or we're just going to take off now, followed by a correction once we break the all-time high. I would prefer this because it's exactly like how Bitcoin moved, right? And some of these crypto move slower, some of these crypto move faster. Bitcoin is moving faster, and looking like a lot of these coins are just trying to catch up to what Bitcoin is doing. So I'm happy with a potential breakout from here if that's what the price will do. And then if we can get continuation, that will be very good to look into a trade here. Okay. Lower time frame wise, really not seeing too much. This was the only buy that I saw. We pushed the upside. Remember last weekly outlook? I mean, 2 days ago, I said, "Oh, I'm not really liking this." Sure enough, we had this kind of a bearish push down. But is there bearish continuation? So far, I'm not seeing much. But if it started developing something like this, then yeah, it looks like it could be a kind of bearish continuation. Okay, and that's probably when Bitcoin is likely to make that correction I point out as well. Then I will be looking to exit Bitcoin for some profit. Okay, so but for now, not really seeing the buy unfortunately for the Ethereum. I know I'm assuming you guys are looking for the buy. All I see here is maybe a head and shoulder, inverse head and shoulder pattern. But that's all I see here. But I don't think that's enough to justify for a buy here. Whereas the scenario I mentioned on the higher time frame could be better in my sense. Okay. Because you have a fat account. Hopefully not crazy. So Link USD. Still looking to see what price will do if we can, successfully break the previous high here. Okay, that's kind of what I'm looking for. I do want to see price break above previous high and then continue, just like Ethereum, just like Bitcoin. Not really liking this last bit of the price. Originally, when price broke out here, when I make this analysis, it was looking good actually. I was looking at if this is going to be a continuation and we're just going to take off afterwards. But instead, it's a little bit erratic here. It's kind of forming a head and shoulder almost as well, and I'm not really liking that either. If we look at here on lower time frame, it looks like it's a more slanted head and shoulder pattern, and this can drop down, right? And that's why I'm not really liking what I'm seeing here. Okay, I won't be getting involved until I see breakout from this point forward. Right, I just think these are going to be way better setups, and they're going to be higher probability setup because there is no price has never been that high before, right? We have never seen price before that high. It's the same move, right? We had this impulse up, and then we pushed down, period of consolidation, and then finally we're kind of resuming that bullish trend. So certainly has the momentum, but price action wise, I'm not seeing much here yet. Can develop in the further days or week. Yeah, I'm gonna finish all the ones. I'm gonna talk about Zen. I'll go over Neo after. Uh-huh. Nice to see you guys. So Litecoin here. Same idea. Last weekly outlook I mentioned. This looks like it's forming a ascending channel, and then we could be having a bearish push down. Sure enough, we happened right. We're happily up, which is also a key kind of indication that we're reacting to this previous swing high. Remember, I talked about for me to get involved with Litecoin is preferably push above that, followed by continuation, and then certainly we'll have a better setup or better entry here to target the next previous top. And again, same thing with scoop formation that we're seeing, right? This is the tendency of the market condition. So nature of the market, we're seeing the same thing. Some are faster, some are slower, right? But sure enough, we can definitely expect long-term approach from most of these markets if we do continue the bullish momentum here. Okay, so but for now, I'm not seeing too much on Litecoin. But I do like that we are still in this kind of bullish trend though. So anything can happen here that we can just consolidate here and resume. The only thing that will put me off is the same thing as Bitcoin and Ethereum. If we form lower time frame kind of bearish continuation for this move here, then I'm not interested in that anymore. All right. Last one to go over is Stellar. Stellar, I got all of the Stellar position for I think 0.5 or something, 0.5% when price kind of tagged me out, I think around this area. But I'm fine with that because I understand what I'm looking for a higher time frame approach, and it's giving me another opportunity now. Literally, I'm very interested to be looking for a position now. I like how we clearly had a strong impulsive move to the upside, and then we form just a larger continuation. This is a larger kind of flag, larger channel, but a continuation now. And when we actually had this kind of breakout, which is great. This is exactly what I look for all the time in any of the pairs. We had this larger correction, a larger continuation correction. We had this descending channel pushing the price down, and then a lower time frame push out of the structure, and then confirmation, lower time frame continuation. So I'm actually interested in this. I'm actually going to plan to enter this once that's finished developed. And same thing, you just look to see what the profit will be at the top. If I enter a sizable position here, so about 4 to 1 or so, just to the previous swing high area. But again, looking at a higher time frame perspective, once we break this previous high and then more reaching to the high is not far away in my opinion. Okay, same idea, we're just getting this kind of price action, so nature of the market, right? You don't quote me on it, right? Look at all the previous price action from any markets, commodities, stocks, Forex. You'll see these kind of move a lot in the market. All right, so that is dollar for me. Let's go over a few that you guys are looking at. Yeah, so new, it will take 3 weeks to reach there, probably longer. But obviously anything can happen in the market. XRP, sure. I'm not interested in XRP, to be honest. I know I've been seeing a lot of people posting XRPs, but I'm not really seeing much after all this move down. Right? I know there was SEC or like some lawsuits against Ripple and things like that. Well, again, obviously anything can happen here, but that usually tend to create some sort of panic in the market, right? Usually that is going to happen because people are just shut that down or something. They're gonna liquidate all their coins or whatever. Um, Personally, I'm not too interested in Ripple. I think there's way better crypto pairs, the ones I mentioned for the buy, and because this has pushed down massively already, and originally the price was actually forming very good price action. We had this kind of a channel structure or falling wedge, whatever you want to call, from this move. So, but it's pretty much forming a reversal structure. We had this pushed up from the lower time frame here. So impulse, correction, and we pushed up massively. And if you guys recall, I was looking for a buy from here. I took a loss here actually because we had this push to the upside, lower time frame continuation. I was looking for the buy, but then all this news came out, and then eventually just kind of goes down and really not seeing too much here. I can't even draw any structure out or anything like that. I'm not really seeing anything. What I could see, one possibility actually, solely on price action, is that we had this strong impulse down already. So if this makes a correction here, this could be actually going lower. Okay, kind of going against what most people would be doing. Most people probably would be buying here or whatever. But I personally not really seeing that at all. So that is Ripple. Neil, someone asked about Neil, right? I apologize, I haven't get to it. Now I am here. Um, just Ripple River. What I talk about is up move, in my opinion. So First time here. Nice to see you guys. So, hello, hello. So, needs the um, oh, this is actually pretty interesting, and I'll point out. So on the higher time frame, very similar than other ones that I pointed out. We had this kind of period consolidation, and then we had a strong impulse to the upside, which is good. We're forming this continuation. We had more continuation in the middle, and then we had this another push up to the upside, which is all good. So this is looking good if we get a continuation correction here, and then we're going to continue off. At least this last bit of the price here, it's looking pretty good, and certainly has potential. I think the only thing I'm looking at is, and I remember now why I wasn't too interested in this one, because we're approaching this high and can see that the premium get rejected, so a potential double top prices again at this area now. So it would be nice to continue upwards and continue forward to kind of break above this area, and then the next swing high would be much higher. Then you have a lot more room to target, not speak. Okay. Yes, San. Hello. I went over Neil. Hopefully you got it. So, charts is blurry. Is it still blurry? ADA. Yes. ADA. So Cardano, we're approaching to this previous swing high now. Okay. So just want to be careful when you're approaching this previous swing high. I like how we already pushed off on this correction. So this is clearly an impulsive phrase now. What you want to wait for is obviously a continuation. Is it going to continue here and then continue upside? Just be aware that we're approaching to the top now, so be careful. What you ultimately want to do is wait for, again, price to break above Banana and continue, right? We talk about this in other crypto, similar fashion once again, right? We push the upside, we push down, and then appear consolidation, and then likely to resume, right? Overall nature of the market. Right? So EA, that's any other question, guys? Any other question on crypto at least before we wrap it up with other things? Some other question here. Let me see. Stellar, what's your stellar approach? Well, it's getting close to that area where it's gonna take me. I'm gonna set an entry order. That's all I'm gonna do, right? So, um, set an entry order here, just above this. Give me a second here. Set it above entry order. That's what I'm planning to execute. So, so something like this would be okay. Actually, if we break out here already, I will. The last thing I want to look for is actually just a potential head and shoulder here. So right shoulder here or whatever, 5 minute correction. That's just small added confluence, and then I will be entering this. And then just breaking to at least to the previous swing high as a potential target, and then look to see what price can do if it continue upper like that. Okay. Can you give me symbols or tickers? I don't know what that is. Yeah, is that crypto or something? ZLLIQA whatever. Is there any forecast again for Bitcoin? Well, like I said, I don't. I just don't want to Bitcoin to form a bearish continuation like this. Other than that, I'm not really seeing any bullish move yet. If you're not in the trade or not in yet, I'm really not seeing too much here yet. So um, I'd rather wait for a little bit more development here. Hopefully, I pronounced that right. So no question. TR kind of give me the same idea like link kind of when price breaks out the structure, but it's breaking up very correctively, which I don't really like, right? I want to see impulsive breakout, continuation correction to push down, push up, sorry, in this case, but I'm really not seeing that, and that's why I'm a little bit putting this on the sideline. I like how the overall price was doing. We had like a period consolidation, we pushed up, and then there was a bigger continuation. But this last bit of the price is not really clear. It's not really impulsive, and I don't really like to trade through that, and that's why I'm not really into this one. What will be the signal to buy Stellar? Um, Hopefully not just following me, but you should have your plan. But I'm going to enter something like this like now. I think I might just get tagging now. Let me just double check. Um, so, but if you're gonna enter, buy at your own risk. Don't call me or anything. So ZIL crypto, sure. Yeah, I mean, this is looking interesting, right? We clearly had an impulse, we had a continuation correction, we pushed the upside, and then similarly, we could be seeing another continuation here to continue upwards, right? Certainly, this looks like very like Stellar that we just went over, right? We had an impulse, we had a larger flag continuation, we push up, we correct, and then we just push up again. So that's a tendency of the market, guys, right? We want to see larger continuation of this trend, right? So, okay, so let's continue. Let's continue. Any question on anything before I jump finish up something else? Natural gas, yeah. Yeah, I mean, when we talk about natural gas, I was interested in the buy. I didn't get in the buy, but I was interested when price was making this. I mentioned it can make another push to the upside before it continue, but instead kind of make two push down before it continue. But structurally, nothing changes, right? We're still in this. Well, we were in this bullish move, and then looking like we're resuming the bullish trend, right? So which is good. There was a continuation correction here, in my opinion. So if you were looking for the buy, I think this was a good buy opportunity. I didn't get to this, but if it continue, there will be more opportunity as well. Okay, so this is an interesting one. I was gonna go over. Totally forgot. I apologize. Someone asked me about to go over as well. Um, this is an impulsive phrase. This is correction. This is another impulse. This is correction. We're likely to have another impulse and continue forwards. Okay, and zooming out on the higher time frame, looking like we didn't have what we broke all these previous high now, so certainly can continue either to the next high or all the way to the top of the higher time frame structure. Higher time frame, why I could certainly hold a bias for a possible long opportunity. We can see that price has been in this consolidation or this correction all the time since this massive bearish move, and it takes all these years to continue to go. This is no longer a continuation correction. This becomes a neutral kind of a reversal correction, and then reverse the price after all this period of consolidation is over, which is kind of what I'm seeing here right now on a higher time frame perspective. That's weeks or month, years to complete. Okay. Uh, Not interesting in oil. I think we went over oil weekly outlook. I can't remember. Um, this is continued to going up. I'm not really seeing much here. Yeah, we're approaching to kind of the previous swing, one of the previous swing high in the long positions. Kind of seeing what the price will do. This move is somewhat corrective, in my opinion, in more of ascending kind of style. So looking to see what price will do in the top of this area, because I would be looking for sell opportunities, in my opinion. But for now, I don't see any buy or I don't see any sell at this point. Is it good to buy natural gas now? Up to you if it fits your plan, right? So don't, like I said, don't blindly enter any trades based on signals or other people's. Make sure you do your own analysis and understanding the market conditions. So if the trade goes bad, you don't blame others, right? Because you want to ultimately yourself is trading the price because we had this impulsive phrase, we had this period consolidation, a larger kind of a flag channel in the making, and lower time frame breakout, lower time frame continuation. So that's all good. But personally, I think this is the way I would have entered, but I missed the trade anyways. So looking to jump into it. Okay. Yeah, thank you. Link, I already went over link, not too interesting because this last bit of the price is a little bit erratic. Rather see impulsive phrase rather than this kind of potential head and shoulder in the making. So um, yeah, so let's finish up with all the indices. Let's wrap it up with indices. A general question, as you mentioned before about self-business, under which section day trading can be entitled as entrepreneurs. I don't know which country you're from. What I meant by that is you can open a business to trade. Like you can open business account with your brokers. Do you guys know that? I don't mean that you. I don't mean it like you self business. Like you got. I'm from Canada too, by the way. You can open a business, corporation, LLT, whatever, in Canada, and for the purpose of investment, right? So deposit your money into your business bank account, and then from your business bank account, deposit into your business broker account. That's what I do. Does that make sense, Mod? So you can open an investment account, right? You can open a holding account. It really doesn't matter what you open. It matters that you need to have a actual business account, and then you want to open a business broker account, right? I'm not with CMC Market. I'm use Oenda. I use Oenda for trading and Axie Trader for that. But you can do. I'm sure you can do that with any major brokers. They will let you do that. Should be a Canadian broker, preferably, right? Because you're in Canada. At least based on my years of research, Canadian, what do you call that? IROC. IROC is much, much, much better than other group, right? Like IROC, at least for protection of your money, is good for Canadians, right? So you can check out this website if you're interested. So is it a good entry slot now? No, not necessarily. I don't. I think I went over that earlier. I'm not really looking to buy Tesla when it just makes all this all-time high. Remember, every time when I got into Tesla, I talk about you want to wait for a period of consolidation, a period of correction, right? So all these are actually buy setups, in my opinion. Whereas we once price already pushed up so massively, in my opinion, I don't think this is the only correction it's going to make. But remember, guys, there's no right and wrong in trading. Of course, this can just take off, and if you didn't get in, you'll be hating me to tell you not to go. But I'm basing everything I do based on probability, based on trading, based on back testing, right? It's like flipping a coin, right? If you flip a coin, you if I just close my eyes, I enter a buy or enter a sell. Sometimes it'll work out, sometimes it won't work out, right? I think you all agree on that. So it's the same thing here. Will this take off? Yes, maybe a percentage of the time. Will this not take off? Yeah, certain percentage of time, right? So it's all about how you utilize that in your advantage. Okay, sometimes if you blindly enter a trade, yeah, it will take off, and we might think we're we're a pro or we're a guru, but when a lot of time price when it started correcting itself like this, then we enter the buy here and it doesn't work out, right? So yeah, I mean this is just my personal opinion. Don't take it the wrong way. It's just since we're on this topic, is that I always understand probability, right? The probability would be higher if we get a continuation correction, just like how we have seen all the times in the past, right? These are all continuation corrections. and they always happen after a strong push, right? We see that over and over again in the market. So the higher probability opinion is waiting for a correction. But always remember, sometimes price doesn't need to form a correction and this will take off. So everything you do, everything you analyze is double edged, meaning that there's no perfect world. We'll never know if this is all we need for price to take off or do we need more consolidation. We'll never know, but I'm fine accepting the fact that I want to wait for a bigger consolidation to enter rather than enter here. So I already accepted the fact that if this takes off, I'm going to miss profit. I'm totally fine, right? It's all about your perception of trading, how you make peace with your mind, because your mind is what's going to cause you fail in trading. Your mind is what is going to make trading the hardest industry, hardest business ever that you will ever encounter. Okay. Why is there a large gap in Tesla? You mean like something like this? There were some. Well, I personally don't have more data than this. I think you can buy on. I think I went over this. Let me see. Like you might have to buy these exchange, New York Stock Exchange, to get additional real time data or to get more data. Because I don't really day trade or I don't day trade stocks. I don't really need these. Like whatever I see here is enough for me to justify, right? I'm more investing in stocks, right? So I'm not worried about seeing some gaps here and there or whatever. So I'm kind of new trader. What books do you recommend? I honestly didn't read too much book, but I did read a book called Trading in a Zone. You should certainly read that if you're interested. I'm not selling books, don't call me. This is probably the only trading book I read, so if you're interested, you can read this book. I think it's good. Really keep looking at people's analysis on TradingView. Uh, watch YouTube videos, things like that to get yourself familiarized with what trading is and things like that. I'm gonna go over S&P 500. I already went over. Let's wrap it up with all the indices, guys. Julia, private message me on Telegram, please. You'll private message me on Telegram. I'll talk to you privately. So let's continue. Sorry, got lost track. So US 130, so Dow Jones. Um, Personally, again, I'm still in the price is still in this consolidation, and my bias does not change. My bias is still looking for a potential reversal, still looking for a potential sell. Okay. I like how we're still in this correction. We're at the top of this overall structure now, which is good. This is shaping up to be something that could be sharp reversal impulse. All right. And this last bit is really important here, I think. What the price does in this area, is it going to form reversal correction? Price, potentially push down from this, and we're going to totally downside. All right, so nothing is happening yet. So that's why patience is key here in trading, right? There's no point jumping into positions, no point just, worry about the price may take off or go down or whatever without you. I think that's one of the mistake I think beginner traders do, is that they worry the price will go without them. The price is never moving so fast that you can't capitalize on it. Okay, it's all in your mind that thinking that it will take off without you, and people get into that panic mode, stress, fear of missing out, right? And that's why a lot of time traders enter the trade too prematurely, and then price is still incorrecting, and then just get takes out. Okay, so I learned that the hard way definitely in the beginning of my stage of trading, and this is why I'm much more patient. You'll see why when I do my streams, when I go my forecasting, I'm always waiting for confirmation. And then remember, I always said I accept the fact that if I enter here, I'm gonna miss all these profits. I already understand I will miss all that profit, but I'm fine missing all the safer entry, the better entry in my opinion, and I'm fine entering these over and over again, because at the end of the day, trading is about risk management, right? You need capital to trade. If you're going to enter so many positions or too early positions, you might get stop out, you might get tagged out, and your account capital is dropping, and then at the end of the time you don't have money to trade, and that's a lot of people blow their accounts because they go over this repeatable process a lot, and they can't get their mind out of that, right? So as your trading journey continues to improve, you're actually taking less and less trades. I think most consistent traders will agree. So anyways, that's what I see on Dow Jones here. Okay, so I want to see this correction finish. I want to see a breakout confirmation followed by continuation to see if the price will break out and then continue further. Right, but one step at a time, of course, just seeing this move potentially. S&P 500, yes, let's do that. What's that support level? Don't use support level, Morning. This is more as a swing high area. This is kind of how I mark. This is the previous swing high area of the price. This is all-time high, by the way, before the COVID drops, right? So we're at this double top area. Remember, a double top to me doesn't have to be touch the line and then drop or whatever. It's in that area of the zone, right? That's how I classify a double top price action. So price action here, we're forming ascending channel. We're in a larger expanding channel. We're having a double top kind of price action. So a lot of confluence for me to see a potential sell in this area. Good advice, wait for confirmation. Always, right? It's what I said. If you enter a trade here, sometimes it will work out, right? It's probably, guys. Sometimes it will not. But how to have a better edge in the market, how to have a better edge for you as a trader is you look for a confirmation. You wait for a little bit more development from the price. It's giving you a little bit better entry. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go over U.S. index now, Joey. Maybe mentioned that earlier. Sorry, I'm going over now. Yeah, but anyways, S&P, kind of the same approach here. I want to see what price is doing here. Potentially push down, right? Push down a little bit, followed by continuation, and push out of the structure. Not interested in this sell, which can work out as well if this is going to be a bearish move. I want to wait for a breakout, followed by a confirmation correction to put. Okay. If we notice, and I'm going to point out this, especially indices, we always move in this fashion. All right, take some time later on when you have time, do some back testing. You'll notice that when the indices moving action, it's building up momentum for the sell. Right, where same thing happening here, same thing happening here. If I zoom out more and more, right, same thing happened here, same thing happened here. It's all in different scale, different length, different deeper correction, but everything is the same, right? Everything when the indices move, it always move in that ascending kind of structure before the sell-off. So to me, nothing changes here when it comes to the most current price action here. Okay, so just the key is to identify them before it happens, and you have a clue, you have a plan on how to capitalize on it instead of trading based on emotion, which is what most new traders do. Is they're entering position on emotions. They have no plan prior, they're looking at this, they're like, okay, well, they're like, okay, I'm gonna get into the sell, but where do I get in the sell, or how do I get in the sell? What is my plan? What is my forecast when it comes to getting the sell? They have no idea. They're just blindly on their phone entering the positions. But that's all the demise of trading, and that's kind of why um, those kind of mindset and those kind of perception of trading is going to backfire on that trader. Basically, you have a bearish view on the U.S. market and waiting for correction. Pretty much. That's just my bias, of course, though, right? So trading is all about bias, right? You have a bias in the market, you find confluence to your setups, and you look for entries, right? So no right and wrong, as I always call, okay? Yeah, exactly. Clear signal confirmation is required before pressing the buy and selling. Exactly, right? That's just my trading plan, and that's I have to develop those in order to be a consistent trader, right? We can't trade based on emotion. This is why most traders blew up their account in a month or two, because there's no plan, there's no risk management. Their expectation is way skewed to thinking that they can make easily in the market, that they should just be a genius or a guru after 1 or 2 months of trading. But actually, that's not how it works. Let me finish up all the indices here. So US third, sorry, Nasdaq. I don't know why I say US 30. Um, Nasdaq here. So very similar approach like S&P and Dow Jones. We're in this kind of ascending structure now. So we're correcting in this fashion. If we zoom out here, not price has not been this high before. This was the previous high before COVID happened. This latest bit of price action is very important, is that we're not seeing any bullish price action. Right? This is a sharp move. This is a bullish move to the upside. Don't get me wrong, but this is not a continuation. This is more of like a extension of it. Now we're forming an ascending channel structure. This is definitely not a bullish continuation correction or bullish kind of price action, so to speak. This is certainly a more of a reversal kind of structure. So a potential bearish reversal from the price. Okay, so not seeing anything here as of now. We can see this push to the downside. Certainly, we can make another push to the upside, and so just like what we have seen in the past. So same idea as the other two is correction to push down. Right, always going to be the safer entry, guys. That's always going to be my plan, to look for these kind of setups. Okay. Ultimately is to see what the price will do when we get to the bottom of here, making this is more of a larger kind of expanding or ascending structure now. And if this structure works out or plays out, we might also see more bearish move on the price. Okay, so that's NASDAQ. Any question on these indices before I finish some gold and things like that? God bless COVID. And I mean, it doesn't have to be, COVID doesn't have to get worse for the stock market to crash, right? The market can just crash without no apparent reasons, or at least a sharp move to the downside. It doesn't have to be any news. Um, Someone sent me about, I'm not here to do any politics, so don't quote me on things, but someone is saying like, because going to print more money, to for stimulus and to give money out to their public. That may cause the dollar to strength or to tank. Usually going to be tank, right? So that may cause all the may cause the stock to continue going up. Who knows, right? So anything is up in the air. I try not to let too much fundamental stuff to get to me. I know everyone trades differently, so don't call me on this, but I personally don't care too much about news events unless it's major news event like Brexit or presidential elections. But if you're talking about some interest rate or unemployment data, I tend not to let that get into my decision making. Um, Especially I've been trading for many years. These data that you see on my FX, my what do you call that? Forex factory. Like these events that you guys usually see here. Honestly, years ago, I'm talking about like 2015, 2016, like these news events used to create a big impact on the market. Honestly, not anymore. I really haven't seen much movement. Even NFP, I don't even see much movement in NFP. Maybe some of you guys are not too relatively new to the market, like maybe a few years. But when I was trading at least 4 or 5 years ago, when NFP happens, like dollar pairs can move like 100, 150 pips in that split minutes, right? NFP used to create a bigger exposure, not even more. So I don't. Same thing with other news that as much anymore. So. Yeah, I'm located in Canada, yes. So, okay, so that's it. So that is all the indices. Not much whilst I'm looking at Aussie 200, looking to see what we'll do in this last bit of the price. Same thing, we're seeing that ascending kind of channel, very similar like this. So waiting to see a little bit more confirmation from the price to see if we can get a reversal from the top here. Gold, right? Yeah, let's talk about gold. So gold here, went over gold earlier. I'll go over gold again here. Is higher time frame wise, I still see it as potential bullish. Recall I drew like this, and then we had this price breakout, and I mentioned don't jump in, wait for a confirmation correction, and it did not happen. And this is why confirmation, like what we've been going over, is really key. Is we can't just blindly enter because we see a breakout followed by bullish candle. I think that's too prematurely. What you want to see is on the lower time frame here, is it going to form a continuation correction to push up? And that's always going to be my confirmation. And that's how I save capital as well, right? I save unnecessary losses if the price doesn't form correction here. Okay. So how I see this now is the structure isn't finished, right? We know that the higher time frame structure can evolve and can correct deeper. So if we just extend the trend line here, now that we're seeing that we're pushing down now, so a correction here would certainly bring the price down to the lows here. I mentioned this in the beginning and weekly outlook. I'm not interested in this sell. This can happen. This likely is going to happen to push the price down to the bottom of the structure here. But because I'm looking for a buy, and my higher time frame bias is still a buy, I don't tend to enter these short-term positions. Again, it's not that they won't work out. They're very likely to work out because if they need to work out for me to have that buy bias from the bottom, right? It's just that for me, risk management plan wise, I don't want to trade these kind of small short-term positions, and I'm looking forward to the long-term positions that can happen here. All right, so that's what I see on gold. Short-term, certainly a potential term-wise. I want to see price to hit the bottom here, and then potentially breaking up from this point forward. How do you know the structure length? Do you mean how do I know the correction structure, how long it will go? Uh, Remember, I talk about this as price action trader, as the way how I analyze, how I or my people like me who analyze the market in this fashion, in this kind of price action kind of strategies or style, whatever, is that we're not 100% sure when the structure will finish. Okay, we will never know 100% when the structure will finish, but we have a very good understanding of the market condition and how the nature of how the market moves. We know how the market will move is by impulsive phrase, correction phrase, impulsive phrase, correction phrase, impulsion phrase, correction phrase, impulsive phrase, and likely to be in a corrective phrase before it resume. Okay, so we understand all that. So the key here is to look for possibility, look for setups on the current and the most latest price action here. So we are seeing a potential flag in the making. This is a continuation structure. Um, we know that a structure tends to have at least two swing highs and two swing lows. The more the better, but two is the absolute minimum. So if this didn't break out and this didn't form continuation correction, we know that the structure is evolving. It just means that this correction isn't over, likely to get more or at least make a move to the downside before it resumes. So understanding all that in your favor, you know that if this comes down to the lows here, and if we get reversal bullish price action, then we're likely to see at least push to the top here again. And two scenario from here, if it breaks out followed by continuation, then we're likely to continue to the top. But if we see reversal price action, just like how we see reversal price action here, then we know that the structure of this higher time frame isn't finished. You make another move to the downside process. All right. So I hope that is clear for some of you guys. We're never going to be 100% sure on anything. It's a probability. Nothing is 100%, right? So if everything is 100% as really, then people are going to sell their houses to trade, right? Go sell my house to go trade because clearly they're saying it's 100% strike rate, right? Then you go borrow money to go trade, right? So that's not how trading is. Then it's kind of why I always emphasize to everyone is trading is about probability. You identify setups that you want to take. You have a bias. You have a plan. The key is you need to have a trading plan. You need to have a bias in the market, and then you need to forecast and backtest your strategy so that it comes to you second nature, and you look for these kind of setups over and over again in the market, and you don't let the result get to you. You don't let the short-term result get to you. If you know that you've been backtest this kind of style trading and strategy, you know it works out in the past, it will work. You just can't predict which time in the future that you will win or which time in the future you will lose. But if you know how to keep your risk management, you know that at minimum you should have 3-to-1 risk reward, um, so that even if you take a loss, you need to take 3 losses in order to offset 1 win. And that's kind of how you manage to stay in the market, because you need to be consistent in the market in order for you to keep trading. A lot of traders jump into the market thinking they're going to make money in 1 month, end up blowing their account in less than a week. Okay, that's really the difference here, guys. So anyways, any other question, guys? Any other? I wrap up the streams. I've been talking for almost 2 hours here. So if you like these setups, you like these analysis, make sure you join my Telegram. Make sure you join my YouTube, which is where I do all my contents. I upload all my analysis, all my streams, all my educational video and lesson Telegram, so you can see them there. Yeah, Telegram here if you're interested. YouTube here if you're interested. This is where I actually break down all my lessons, all my style. Everything is in here if you guys are interested to take a look. All right. Where is the Telegram? Type in this, search for me. or you can just click it on my TradingView profile page. Should show up there as well. Enjoying the stream? Yeah, enjoying, guys. So that is it for me. That is it for me. This will be uploaded on TradingView and YouTube and all that stuff. And usually I do 3 streams a week. What's your YouTube account? Scroll down this stream right now. If you scroll down, you should see my Telegram, YouTube. There's links there. Or you just click my name. Go to my TradingView profile and then click on there's a few links there that you can look, okay? Go to my page. These are the links. This is YouTube. This is the link that I have that you can see other things in here, okay? So that's it, guys. So like I said, I do 3 streams a week. I try to do them in Asia, New York, and London session. So I'll do another one in London session, and that's about it, guys. Yeah, so thank you very much, guys. Hope you guys all have a wonderful day, whatever time zone you are in. So morning, stay safe out there, and then continue to move forward, right? So look positive, be positive with life, okay? So I'll chat with you guys next time. Hope everyone have a wonderful day. All right, thank you very much.